So I just want to put out there, we were just talking and I'm running class late, which I usually don't do, and notice all the things in front of me, because that's where I'm at. Like, it's scattered mind time. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I point this stuff out, not because I need, partly A, so you know where I am. So if you're like, her energy is weird, you're like, yes, it is, you're right. But also, so you're like, oh, me too. If I may briefly take time for some shameless self-promotion, I just wanted to say it's that time of year. And if you think, oh, it'd be so cool to get a package from Crystal Joy, from CJoy Yoga, either as a gift or to give one as a gift, these don't, I'm going to switch it slightly. So I would just write on there, but you can get, I'm going to be doing 2 privates. They're 1-hour sessions, and I can come to your house or you can come to where I'm staying. And it's $100, which would be $50 each. And normally they're 75. So you save $50. So putting that one out there, and I'll have them on my website soon as well. And then you can also, what I'm adding to it is because people are asking about classes. So normally 5 classes cost you $50. If you want to buy or have someone buy you a gift, you can get 5 classes for $40. So putting that out there, if anyone wants, I'm going to start bringing them with me. And again, you can tell someone to buy them for you. You can buy one for yourself, or you can give, I will have them online. They are not yet. I will not get to before Thanksgiving. I am traveling. But that's when I get back. I'm hoping that's one of my first orders of business. So they will be on the website. Well, there are going to be 5, but today is free. So if you bought a package for today, you'll get 1. So you would only have to pay for 4. Yeah, excellent. I think that takes care of that. Thank you for your patience. I sure do appreciate it. Sit up nice and tall. And that's also to any of my online friends too. And if you're like, oh, Zoom private classes, we can talk about that. And I can give you even a little bit more of a deal. Sitting up nice and tall. Find your buttocks bones rooting down. I mean, I was just talking about my scattered brain. I could not use that earth energy anymore than I have wanted it the past few days. I have, even with my cold feet, walked out onto the grass a couple of times just to feel that earth energy underneath me. So you might imagine, and just use that imagination, and imagine you are standing or kneeling, sitting on Mother Earth, or some image, right, that helps you feel more grounded. And I like to remind us there's an exchange of energy. It's not just her energy coming up to us. It's also our energy going down into her, almost like a removal of any kind of boundaries or edges. Tune into the rise and the fall of the chest with the breath. And tune into the rise and the fall of the belly on the breath. And then let's go ahead and let's open our eyes. Bring those arms out. We'll do a couple things here on our buttocks. Nice and simple, starting to move with the breath, right? Inhale, take the whole breath to bring the arms up. They don't have to go all the way up, right? Exhale, turn the palms down. And again, take the whole breath, almost like you're pushing through water. Do the resistance and you'll get a little extra oomph, right? Turn the palms up, push through imaginary water to lift the arms, but keep the inner shoulders soft. Exhale, turn the palms down. So we're going to move on the breath, but I'm going to try and slow us down with the breath today. We'll add on. Inhale, reach the arms up. If you need to go faster or slower, you do. It's not a big deal. Right fingertips down, leaning to the right. Inhale brings us up. Again, take the whole breath. Exhale to the left. For my friends who are usually zippy, inhale up, which is me, by the way. Exhale, this is a hard practice. Inhale, come all the way up. And my mind starts to get tweaky too, right? My mind's like, why do I have to go so? I want to go move fast. I want to go. Inhale, coming all the way up. No worries. Exhale, you still feeling good? Yeah, great. Inhale up. That's beautiful. That's why I didn't bug you. Exhale over to the left. Now stay to the right this next time. Come up. Let me say that. Move over to the right. If you want to keep moving on the breath, feel free, Anne. And then go ahead. We're going to try and do arm circles. So, turn your palm up to the ceiling and then reach it back behind you and circle it as best you can in your shoulder girdle, right? Bring it around. The palm turns down, but when you're overhead, turn it up and reach that back around and down and bring it overhead and lengthen, buttocks bone down, sideways long. You'll inhale and come all the way up, exhaling over to the left. Once you get there, if it's okay, turn the palm up and then go ahead and rotate that back. Again, that's external rotation, right? And then go ahead and turn the palm down. This is external rotation. I was wrong. Sorry, internal when we turn the palm up. And go ahead and reach that all the way around until you get overhead and then pause or bicep next to ear. Sink right buttocks down and lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Inhale, both arms are going to reach up. Exhale, bring those arms out and down. Scapula circles. You got 2 angel wings, right? So you're going to take those 2 angel wings and we're going to bring them through 4 motions. Up, forward, down, together. Now smooth it out. Big, broad, as wide as you can get with those motions and make that a circle if that's okay. My hands, I just have them kind of resting on my thighs and they just move around a little bit, right? But only because my shoulder blades are moving. And then we're going to reverse that. We're going to go up, together, down, and around. And again, now try to smooth that out and make that into the biggest circle you can make it without your spinal column moving too much. I'm not asking you to be rigid, right? But keeping the spine neutral gets us more into the muscles and the fascia of the upper back than if I'm rounding and moving the spine. That's about the spinal column. It's still wonderful, but that's not what we're doing. Come right into Goldilocks in the middle of all 4 of those, right? And then bring your hands, palms up with the elbows by the side. We're going to keep them, not pin them in, but we're going to keep them by the side. And then go ahead and reach those hands out like you're serving something to somebody maybe. Inhale, and if you have issues with that and you don't think you're a servant, right? It's with someone you love, it's not being a servant. Exhale, someone you love is over there and you're giving them a chai latte or something. And then go ahead and bring that back in. Now watch those ribbies, right? As those arms reach back, try not to let the ribs go out. If that's your tendency, that's not everybody, that's just some of us. Inhale back in. You got 1 more of those. Exhale. Now this time when you get out there, you're gonna pause. You're gonna keep the shoulders where they are, but you're gonna extend the arms out. I'm in a low shape, right? I was gonna say V, but it's an upside down V. And then as I reach through my middle fingers, I probably feel that bicep line starting to open up and lengthen. Now, are your shoulders still soft and in their Goldilocks? Your shoulder blades still in their Goldilocks position? And bring those hands down and pause. We've mainly been up here, but I'm guessing you're feeling a little more alive. There's a little more energy flowing through your body. One more thing for my leg crossers, please cross the other way for the last bit. My knee folks, if you got to come out of here, come out my kneeling, right? We'll switch it. Goalpost arms. If that feels like more work than you want in your arms, you put your hands on your hips, it's not a big deal. Soften those shoulder blades into their Goldilocks, right? And then turn to the right. This is not coming from my shoulder blades. This is my side waist. Inhale, come through center, right? So try to isolate down here. Exhale, turning to the left. It's not a very big turn. Inhale, can you give up the need for a really big turn because I need a really strong side waist and my core is not strong enough and my belly's sticking out more than I want it to, right? Whatever your particular stuff is, let it go. Exhaling to the left. Inhaling back to center now, load bearing. If you want more of it, you turn out, turn the palms up and turn to the right. The more I extend away from my body, inhale, the more weight those arms become, yeah? Exhaling over to the left. If it's too much, I go right back to goalpost. Inhale, neutral. We got one more. This time we get to stay. Exhale to the right. Now bring the arms into their more classical position. Left hand out of right leg, right fingertips back, right? Get really tall. Keep the side waist, but add the arm leverage, right? I pull gently with my left fingers. I turn and look over my right shoulder, whatever that is, pardon me, in my neck. Now, I want you to think about if you were a marionette on a string coming through the crown of the head and I gently pulled that up. I'm going to keep pulling that string up and you're going to turn your head and look over your left shoulder-ish, right? So this is the crown of my head. I'm pulling up and then you're going to turn and you're going to look back over the right and then go ahead and turn forward over the left shoulder. So we're not changing our torso at all. We're rotating our cervical spine. Turn and look back. Last one, friends. Turn and look forward. The whole head, that is. And then turn the whole body forward. Reach the arms out, exhaling to the left. Now bring those arms into position. Inhale, get really tall. And exhale, go ahead and use those arms and come into your twist. It's our first twist of the day, so please don't force it at all, right? And then keeping the body from the neck down exactly where it is, if you can. Imagine a marionette string being pulled through the crown of the head. And turn the head and look over the left shoulder-ish. Right shoulder, right shoulder, right shoulder. And then go ahead and turn back and look over the left shoulder-ish. Doesn't matter how far you turn, right? Go ahead and turning forward again. The idea is the rotation of the cervical, neck, spine. Go ahead and turn and look back. I am stumbling for words today. And then one more time, turn and look forward with the head first, and then the body. And let's go ahead and come onto hands and knees. Feel free to pad the knees. Feel free to have blocks at the front of the mat. Let's take a couple of cat cows. So we have worked the spine through 4 of its 6 directions. Here are the last 2. Those shoulder blades, we're gonna work from there today. Move them down and together, right, simultaneously. Chest moves forward, there's cow. Now move them up to your ears and around the sides of your rib cage for the other. Yeah, makes sense? Shoulder blades move together and down to reach the chest forward today, right? Just a different way to work it. It's not the only way. It's not the right way. Move the shoulder blades around the side of the spine and up to the ears to round. One more time. So we still have a very big upper body focus for now. We'll get into the lower body in just a little bit, right? We're starting to, but we're more focused on the upper body. Now come back to central. Right now from here, let's talk about the lower body a little bit. I want you to imagine that you have a little nub and tail, right? Whatever kind of animal you want to be. And you're going to circle that tail and let that be. You're not trying to stabilize the spine for this one. You're going to feel some movement through the shoulders probably, and you're going to rock a little bit. Allow that to happen, right? But let your awareness and the initiation come from the tailbone. Go ahead and go the other way. And as with so many things, right? Subtle, less is more. And yet I'm trying to go slow and go through the full motion of the circle to really find my edges. Okay, come back through center, neutralize the spine, elongate it. I always say that's the 7th direction. It's not written in anatomy books, but I think the spine moves in 7 directions. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start to walk our hands forward. Let me move my block so you can see me. If it's okay with your shoulder girdle, right? We're going to walk forward for half downward dog. So I keep my hips over my knees or maybe even slightly behind them, but it's not a child's pose. And then I push down and forward with my hands in order to lengthen my spine. Imagine a Crystal Joy Johnson right in your hip crease, pulling those thighs gently back. I would only do that with your permission, of course. Take an inhale, exhale there, and then go ahead and walk your hands back. Go ahead and bring the toes together, knees apart. Let your hips come down towards your heels. You could have a blanket behind the knees or leave the hips higher if they're sensitive today. Try to bring the elbows down if you can, right? And then go ahead and see if your forehead can also make it to the ground. And if it can't, go ahead and bring a block in and build the floor to your forehead. I'm going to leave my head higher just for vocal quality. If you need to bring the hands in, please feel free to make a pillow for the forehead. But if you can have them shoulder distance along with the elbows, you might notice you get just a little bit of a stretch in the shoulders. Some of us will feel it more than others, depending on our shoulder girdle, right? Okay, so now we're going to kind of add a little sequence in here. Come up to hands and knees. Bring the knees in, separate the feet, and we'll keep the feet, we'll keep the knees hip distance for this version of down, Jiminy Christmas, of cat-cow, right? So you're gonna curl your toes under just to get some sole of the footwork. Inhale, reach the chest forward. Now we're in regular old cow, right? And then uncurl the toes. I want you to round into cat as you drop the buttocks back to the heels, elbows towards the ground, forehead towards the ground, right? So similar to where we just were, different legs. Inhale, coming forward, but you're going to curl your toes under and try to work the soles of the feet as you move into it today. So I come up into cow, and then I uncurl and I move into both cat and child's pose at the same time, right? But today, elbows and forehead down if you can. One more of those, and then we'll add on. Inhale, reaching the chest forward, toes curl under today. And exhale back, my elbows drop, my forehead drops, my hips drop. Inhale up, curl the toes under. Now you could go right back to that child's pose version if it's okay to reach back in a downward dog. We're gonna do this on the breath and we won't hold it, just so you know. Inhale, heels down, keep the toes curled under, reach the chest forward, cow pose, yeah? Making sense-ish? Exhale, uncurl the toes, elbows, buttocks, and forehead. Drop down or soften down is a better word. Inhale, curl the toes under, chest forward, cow. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale, knees down, reach the chest forward, cow. Exhale, uncurl, hips, elbows, and forehead, soften down. Inhale, forward, cow. We're gonna hold this next downward dog if we can for 2 breaths. Exhale up, or actually it'll probably be like 4. Go ahead and bend your right knee and let your hips sway to the right and reach more through your left hand. Inhale back to center. Now bend your left knee, let the hips sway to the left and reach more through your right hand. It's a side body situation, yeah? Inhale back to center. Come up on the tippy toes. Straighten the legs any amount and then slowly drop the heels. And then let's not hold this weight too long. Let's get out of here. Walk your hands back to your feet. If you were in another pose, meet us there in a forward fold. Grab your elbow points if it's okay. Bend your knees so much you can lay your ribs on your thighs, right? Soften in, drape the neck, drape the shoulders. And just to say it, no one in here today, but in case if someone does the video, if I had any kind of compression, bulging discs, herniated discs, I would have my elbows above my knees and I would be lengthening my spine, yeah? Other forearm in front for my drapers. One more breath. Hands on shins, let's all of us reach the chest forward and lengthen our spine as much as we can, spinal elongation. Keep it long. I'm pulling a marionette string forward, hands on hips, elbows up. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, bring the hands down. So I'm just gonna move my stuff a little bit so I can stand a little more center. Super simple, my feet are a little wider than my hips. And we're gonna move in the 4 directions of the hips, but a little bit like this, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let my tailbone, think of moving from the tailbone, right? I'm gonna let my tailbone reach back. So it's an anterior tilt of my pelvis, yeah? And then I'm gonna reach my right hip back a little bit to stretch through here, yeah? And then I'm gonna swing my tailbone forward and I'm gonna tuck a little bit, what's called a posterior tilt, right? And then I'm gonna swing that left hip back and I'm gonna let that tailbone move back. And now make that a circle, but it's not just a hip circle. Does that make sense? I'm trying to move from my tailbone and I'm trying to let my tailbone do this fancy dancy circle. So I get all kinds of groovy stuff. Groovy. And then go ahead and go the other way. So again, if it's not making sense, I curl my tailbone back to move into a anterior tilt, sorry. And I move back and left and this stuff lights up, right? I move the tailbone forward and I tuck it. So I move into what's called a posterior tilt. And then I move back into the right. Now let that tailbone lead the way and try to smooth that out. I love this for this area. When I travel, I always do this one, especially if I'm sitting in a car or an airplane, geez Louise. And then come on back to center. You can bring your feet in more towards hip distance. They could come together. I'm gonna do hip distance. And we're gonna bend the knees a couple of times, nothing too fancy, right? Just pumping through the knee joints. And then we're gonna bend the knees and we're gonna put our hands on right above our knees, not on the knees, it's right above them. And I put a little weight in it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just do baby circles. Now, when I do, I'm gonna notice that when my knees go to the right, I come onto the inner edge of my left foot, the outer edge of my right, right? So just kind of notice that your weight shifts in those feet depending on where your knees are. Go the other direction. You're not trying to control that. You're allowing the rocking, and that way we get into the ankle joints. But now I'm going to isolate. Now I'm going to try to keep my feet evenly grounded, and I'm going to try to circle my knees. My circle's not going to be as big, right? But now I see what it's like when I move at the ankle joint, and I don't allow the ankles to move quite as much, the feet to move quite as much. Go the other way. If any of my friends cross-country ski, snowshoe, downhill ski, any of those kinds of things, oh, I love this work for that. Okay, come on up. You can always use a wall for a friend. Otherwise, you're going to reach that right foot back and try to come onto your toenails. And then I'm going to ask that right heel to move forward and down. And I don't know about all y'all, but right here on me is like, whoa, right? So I'm getting a stretch. And if you're like, wow, my arch is cramping, you should do this more often. But release it and go the other way if you need to relieve it, right? And then we're gonna reach that heel out in front of us. We're gonna try and pull our toes back. So this one's called plantar flexion. This one's called dorsiflexion. They're two of the movements of one of the ankle joints. And let that go. So we're doing a lot of joint articulation today, if you can't tell. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move the left toes back. I curl my toes under if I can. I use my wall if I need to, not a big deal. It's not about balance. I push my heel forward and down. So I start to lengthen here. And this is called, again, plantar flexion. And then I'm gonna reach my foot forward, I'm gonna flex my foot, and I'm gonna pull my toes back like I could let my toes come and touch my shin. And it's not so much about your calf, believe it or not, even though you might feel that. It's about this right here, right? I'm stretching my Achilles, I'm compressing the front side a little. Dorsiflexion. Release that and let that go. We're gonna play a little bit with balance, y'all ready? And the ankle joint. You're gonna go ahead and you're gonna step out a little wide. And if you feel like you want to go wide on your mat, you are welcome to, right? But we're going to keep our foot planted and we're going to play with the ankle. You can do what's called pronation and supination. That's the other ankle joint. But rather than moving from the foot, we're going to move from above it, right? By the shin. So you're going to take that. I'm going to need to figure out the mirror here. Sorry, my brain's stopping for a second. We're going to leave the right foot planted and we're going to step the left foot behind, but I'm going to try to move over, right? And I'm going to try to get that same thing I just showed with the foot planted and then step back over and lean in, keeping the foot down. Make sense? Ish. And then I'm going to step my foot back. It just feels more stable, right? And I try to lean over, but I keep the inner edge of my foot down. And then I come all the way over and I lean over and here's supination. One more time, I come over, I step back, and I try to keep that inner edge down. This is called supination, right? And then this is the easier, by the way, for most humans. And then go ahead and come to neutral. We're gonna work the other side. So Feldenkrais does this a lot. We get used to we're gonna work with the wrist. And so he does a lot where instead of working from the hand, he'll have you put the hand down and he'll have you work from above the joint. It's really done amazing things for my joints. Okay, so we're gonna step behind the left foot, leave the left foot planted, really plant solidly through the inner edge. And then come all the way over and lean over as far as you can, keeping your pinky toe down, right? And then come through center and step back and keep that inner edge down. Again, this is called supination. Yep, I'm saying that right, blah. And then step over and go into pronation, the easier of the two probably. And step over and really try to work that as much as you can. This is the harder. And step over. And then come back to center and just pause with your feet on the ground. And I'm curious if all this work we're starting to do standing and from here down maybe helps you feel like you're planted a little more solidly, a little more grounded, right? Maybe not. It's okay either way. Okie dokie, artichokes, let's move a little bit into some more familiar territory. We are going to bring the knee down for one lunge, so have a blanket nearby if you'd like it. This is where those blankets, blocks will come in handy. I'm just going to wait a second until we all get set up. Take your time. Friends watching this later on a video, hit pause, get yourself set up, hit unpause. Right? Inhale, that's the beauty of doing videos, one of the beauties of it, right? Exhale, folding in, bend those knees. We just were in there, that's interesting. Hands on shins or blocks, reach the chest forward. Keep that spinal elongation, float the left foot back, maybe push the heel back for a second, and then lean back into your lunge. So a little extra core work is what I'm adding if you want it. Bring the left knee down, uncurl the toes, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move forward and back. We're gonna rock the hips back a little bit, straightening the right leg, flexing the foot. This one is about the hamstring, right? Coming forward, rocking forward, and letting that left frontal hip open. Again, walking back, maybe flexing foot, pulling toes back, dorsiflexion. Come forward, move the hips forward and down. Psoas stretch. One more like that. Inhale back. I can't even remember which breath we were on. Sorry if I said it wrong. And then go ahead and come all the way forward and pause. And now we're going to move this into a twist. So I'm going to bring my left block down on low and put my hand down. You could have it on the floor or on high or medium. Just be stable. That's my only request. And I'm going to inhale my right arm up and over to the right to come into a twist again. And exhale, hand down. So we're moving on the breath a lot today, friends. Inhale. That way we still get that movement that we're craving right now. Yep. Exhale, but we're moving slowly into the parasympathetic system. Inhale, and we're entraining the movement, right, towards the Miriam. And then push through that left hand. So we're going to stay there. Let me tell you that, right? Sorry, I forgot to tell you. And then can you maybe curl your left toes under? You do not have to do this. Push the heel back, lift the leg. This will be some of the biggest strength we do, but leave the knee down if you're like, heck no, and rotate open. Bring that hand down. Let's step forward to the top of our mat. So adjust your blocks if you need to. I straighten my right leg and bend my left knee to push off. Inhale the chest forward. Bend the knees, tone the abdomen. Now see if you can reach the right leg back and hover for a hot second with a super bent leg, warrior three. And then step back, 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 back. Whew. Bring that knee down. Uncurl those toes. And again, back and forth, right? So we're gonna move back and we're gonna flex the foot. That's gonna be our inhale. Exhale, move forward. Feel free to walk the blocks or the hands with you. Still moving slow as molasses. Inhale, a three-toed sloth, right? Okay, maybe not quite that slow. Moving forward. Although I do think in my next life, I probably could be a sloth because this one, I've been a hummingbird. Go ahead and come on back. Flex that foot and pause. We're going to stay forward when we get forward this time, friends. Get yourself into your low lunge, right? Set yourself up. Right hand on block or ground, whatever you want. Left hand, I just like to move my left block out of the way so it doesn't get in the way when I move my arm. And then I inhale my left arm up, moving to a twist to the left. And this will be repetition here now. Exhale, bringing that down. It is the same motion. We're not changing the motion. Inhale, we're just flowing with the breath. And exhale down. We're going to come into that and stay into that. If you need to lift the leg early, lift the leg. Reach that up or curl your toes under if you're cramping. And then maybe you curl your right toes under and you lengthen the leg, lifting the knee. Maybe you don't. Lengthen the whole body. Exhale, deepen the twist, whatever that means to you. Don't hurt yourself for it. Bring the hand down. We're going to step forward, friends. That means I'm going to bend my right knee and straighten my left leg and then push off of my right foot. Inhale, chest forward. That's that halfway up business. Exhale and fold. Inhale, whatever arm variation you want is just wonderful. How about gratitude for these bodies? Exhale, out and down. Pause. Notice the breath. I forgot to wear a t-shirt. I would love to be in a t-shirt right now. I just got toasty. And breathe. Everybody feeling pretty good? Their body's waking up, it's alive. We got energy pumping through us. So I say, let's do tree pose. Seems like a tree pose kind of day. Well, you got a wall friend if you want it. Just a reminder, some people, like I'm fine on my mat, but some people prefer being on hardwood floor or a more solid surface, always an option, right? I love kitchen yoga. Hands, yeah. So if you're already in awesome sauce, don't come out. Otherwise, right leg is down. We're gonna bend the left knee, move the left knee out, and just slide in, and you can keep the toes on the earth, right? Push the foot and leg together and find the hip, find the low belly, all that business. Maybe the foot slides up a little bit, maybe it does not. Maybe it slides up a lot, anywhere but the knee joint, please. And if your arms wanna play like branches today, they get to. Now for gaze, I need grounding, so I'm gonna look down a little bit, but without caving my chest. If you're really lethargic and depressed, shift your gaze above the horizon. Look up and open your chest. Take an inhale. Let's all come down as controlled as we can. You know, it's so funny, when I teach, I often say, with as much grace as we can. And I'm trying to think of that more often when I'm not on my yoga mat. I'm like, I'm gonna go grocery shopping today with as much grace as I can. Really get that left foot down. I'm gonna have this uncomfortable conversation with this human being I don't wanna have with as much grace as I can, right? Bend the right knee, move the right knee out, bring it in with the toes down for a hot second today, for anyone willing to join me. Push, 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 foot and leg together, tone low belly. And now maybe you feel solid enough that you can slide the right foot up a little bit. And maybe you don't, and that's okay too, right? Each leg is totally different, by the way, right? Remember when we were doing all that ankle stuff? Maybe the arms play, maybe they don't. Part of it was prepping us for this. This is a lot of work for an ankles, right? Soft shoulders, soft jaw. Don't get tense about it. Really doesn't matter if you have to put your foot on the ground and you can't hold it. Who gives a crap? And bring it all the way down. Here's another one of the things that I ask myself often. I heard someone else say this and I stole it. I wish I could give credit, but I don't remember where I heard it. They said, it was an interview on Being with Krista Tippett, and they said, ask yourself, when something upsets you or frustrates you or pisses you off, is this what I'm gonna worry about when I'm on my deathbed? Right? Like, I didn't hold tree the day before Thanksgiving in 2021. Yeah, stand up nice and tall at the top of the mat. We're gonna come down. You have the blanket there because we might use it for seated poses. You can also move it if you'd like to. I'd love to go through squat because we've been working squats lately, yeah? Let's step our feet out as wide as our mat. Turn the toes out a little bit. You don't have to, you can keep them forward if that's your jam. I need them out a little bit, right? And then inhale, reach those arms forward and up. I do like the mirrors for me as a teacher, I can see all. Yeah, with a little bit of weight in the heels, except for my Zoom friends, but you're still in my field of vision. And then go ahead and start to come on down, tone belly, tone the belly, tone the belly, tone the belly. Maybe you bring in blocks, right? We're gonna try to hold it. Maybe you sit down and you work from your buttocks, bring the arms in if you can. And then from there, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna push arms and legs together and try to reach your chest for the thumbs and lengthen the spine as much as you can. And then push the heels, the very center of your calcaneus bone. This whole back third of the foot is your calcaneus, right there, push it down. And then some of us are bringing our hands back to rock back. Some of us were just like, we need a little extra help. So we put our hands on our blocks, we lift the butt, we bring one shin down, we bring another shin down, and we swoop those legs around. And we all meet, hopefully we all meet somewhere around here. Okay. If woohoo! Gratitude. Maybe you sit on something, maybe you don't. I don't know. It does, it really does. Your muscles need to get used to doing it, both for where they need to open, where they need to strengthen, how to hold it. And the nervous system, I don't think we talk about the nervous system as much, or maybe I talk about it too much, but you know, your nervous system needs to get used to, that's a crazy pose. And your nervous system is like, oh, am I gonna break something? I'm gonna rip something, right? So we need to actually, it's like, oh, I've done this before. Oh, I can do this. I won't get hurt. pull those toesies back, right? I'm not in supination, but the body, for 80% of us or so, would love to be in pronation, right? It's not wrong. I'm just asking you to find the very center, right? And when we do, this activates and we're gonna get right there, right? Inhale, get really tall. Moving on the breath. Our inhale will reach the arms up. You don't have to do any of this if you'd like to just stay seated tall. Exhale, reaching forward, folding over. Keep the legs working. Drag the hands back as you inhale the chest up. Inhale, reach the arms up. I think I goofed up the breath. I'm sorry if I did. Exhale, folding over. I did, I think. And inhale, come on back. Exhale here. I'm going to add one piece of strength if you want it. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, folding in. Now this is the strength if you want an extra piece. Inhale, reach the arms forward, elongate the spine, elongate, elongate, tone belly, tone belly, tone belly, tone belly. Exhale, arms down, right? So now you got two options. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Sorry, my back is to you, Anne. Exhale, folding forward, tone the belly a little bit, work the legs. Either arm slide back or inhale, reach the arms forward, elongation of the spine right there. That's what we've been working for the whole class. Exhale. We got one more of those, friends. We're going to stay folded in, okay? Inhale. So here comes our stillness factor. Exhale, folding in. Pause. Maybe reach the chest forward one more time. Push the heels forward, but reach the buttocks, bones back. And then soften in, soften in. We got 4 breaths here. I'm going to count them out. Inhale. What can you soften when you exhale? Leave the legs working a little bit, but not the shoulders, the tongue, the jaw, all that stuff, right? Inhale. Pardon me. Exhale. I do believe this is number 3. Inhale. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me. Exhale. Una más. Inhale. And exhale. Oh, soften that last little bit. Oh, yeah. Inhale, reach that chest forward and come on. Let me double check my time. I have time for wide legging. We have time, not just me here today. On the breath. You remember this old hat? That's a lot of weight to bear. If it feels like too much, just work with your hands on your hips or you can leave them on the ground, okay? Inhale. We're going to twist to the right. I'm just going to bring my left hand somewhere that way. Where? I don't know. You can play with it. Where does it feel goofy, right? Inhale up. I like to bring my back hand down, right? So when I go to the left, I bring my left fingertips down and I just kind of reach all the way with my right hand. Inhale up. I'll stop talking. Let's experience. Exhale to the right. Inhale, neutral. Whole breath, whole movement. Exhale. You're not in a rush. Inhale, it's almost like a dance. Exhale. Inhale. Little low belly toning goes a long way. Exhale. Inhale. We're going to hold. Exhale over. Again, hands down, reach the chest a little forward for one breath. So bring that hand down and that left hand for support. And then fold over that leg and in out. You might bring your left hand to the outside of the right leg if that helps you lengthen your lower left back-ish. But if that's too much, just leave it down. Okay? Soft neck, soft tongue, soft jaw. Let's say 2 more breaths. Inhale. Without getting aggressive, can that left hip soften back down? Notice I said soften, not pin. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, come up. Both arms are going to tee out again. Exhaling to the left. Bringing the right hand down. Reach forward on an inhale just for a moment. Exhale, soften over. Hands on either side of the leg, hands on the leg, or maybe right hand outside left leg. Inhale. Exhale, soften that right buttocks back down. Inhale, we're gonna do 3 on this time since I started counting a little earlier. Exhale. Soft shoulders, soft jaw. Inhale. Soft upper back. Exhale. And then hands can come down to walk yourself back up. Grab your knees. Bring the feet together. Come off of the blanket. Have your support system, your extra clothes on. I'm going to close these windows so we don't get cold in the house. I'll deal with curtains and stuff in a second. Roll yourself down onto your back as gently as you can. You can walk it down. You can put your elbows down. And eventually we'll meet up down here. And again, I'll deal with fans and lights and everything in a hot second, but let me just get you started down here. So from this place, tee the arms out, walk your feet about as wide as your mat, and just let your knees rock back and forth a couple of times for good old windshield wiper twist. And then if you want to do that one where we swing the knee, what does that mean? When my knees go to the right, my left knee would swing up towards my right armpit. I'm demonstrating, right? If it doesn't make sense, I bring the foot down, I go over to the other side, the left, and my right knee swings up towards my left armpit. For me, I just like that it moves it up my back a little bit more on the knee that's swinging. If it doesn't make sense or you don't want it, not a big deal. And then the next time that your knees go to the right, maybe that left knee swings up, right? And then when you get there, bring that right hand under the left knee. Maybe that left leg extends and foot flexes. Now pull your pinky toe back to the outer left hip. So there's that same thing I was talking about earlier where we have a flat foot. We're not moving into what the foot would like to do, which is pronation, right? And that might light up that IT band for you. That's usually what happens, but not always. And then go ahead and bend the knee, put the foot back on the ground. You're going to move the knees to the left, swing that right knee up a little bit, and then support it with your left hand, please. Then flex the foot and start to straighten that right leg, that top leg, as much as you can comfortably. So use the other hand, Betty, and let it go into a full twist if it's okay. Is that okay? And again, I'm bringing awareness to that darn pinky toe because that has everything to do with getting deeper in the IT band, believe it or not. IT band starts up here in the hip and it runs down the side. And sometimes we feel the back of the knee, but it might be a tendon. And some people will even talk about the calf. It's a different part of the fascia, but the fascia, the whole system is connected. Take another breath. And then go ahead and bend the knee. Bring that foot down. Bring the knees back up. Sorry, got distracted with curtains here. Doesn't take much these days. What, a shiny bright thing? And then go ahead and bring your right knee into your chest. Interlace around the shin if it's okay, and hug the knee in. But you know, if it hurts your knee, you would just go behind and get the thigh and pull it in that way. Oh, actually, let's do that. I'm going to add this in. I wasn't planning on it. I'd like you to interlace behind so you're on the thigh, and I'm demonstrating that. And you're going to unbend the knee a little bit. You're going to jam your hands up as far into the knee joint as you can. So you're actually getting those two tendons on either side of the knee. And then you're going to go ahead and you're just going to let the leg flop over that, right? And the leg is super relaxed. I keep my shoulders, my upper traps as soft as I can, but I'm going to literally gently just pull up a little into my tendons. And then if it feels nice, you can even straighten the leg a little bit and then bend the knee and relax, and straighten the leg a little bit and bend the knee and relax. I love this work when my knee is tender to help my tendons. And then go ahead and bring that foot down on the ground. Notice the back of the right knee, the back of the left, right? Anything else you might notice, the low back. Bring the left leg in. You can start around the shin for a second. We're going to give a hug. That part I know, right? Wherever your hands want to be is wonderful. Round the low back. Now let's meet up here. Everybody interlace behind the knee on the thigh. Unbend the knee, shove the fingers up as high as you can. See if you can feel the tendons on the back of both sides of the knee, the inner and outer knee. And then just let the leg fall over that and soften for a moment. Keep your shoulders soft when you do this next piece. Pull the hands gently up into the knee crease, right? Even though the knee is soft. and just pull on those tendons for a second. If you'd like, I like to straighten my leg a little bit and then just kind of let it fall and push over again into softness. And do that a couple of times. Again, just kind of pulling in on those tendons. Maybe do about one more of those if you're moving on the breath. And then release that left foot down and pause. Let's do one more upper body love before we go to Shavasana. Walk your feet a little wide and lean the knees in. Hug yourself, right arm over your left. We've been playing with this one, right? And you might just do the hug. You might do the forearm interlace for eagle arms. And I'm walking around showing that one if you're like, what? And remember, keep those elbows deeply crossed if you can. And it'll bring it a little deeper into. So undo the hands for a second, come into here, and then try to bring it around. Yeah. It just gets your upper trap a little more for most folks. And I say upper trap, and that's normally where I feel it. But today, I'm feeling it like crazy in the back kind of side of my shoulders. So that gives me a wealth of information, right? I don't know exactly what I did to cause that to be tight, but it sure is tight. That's where you feel it as well? Yeah. Whew. We must have done the same thing yesterday. And then go ahead and uncross. For me, it might just be tension. And then you're gonna bring your left arm closer to your face, cross deeply the elbows. Maybe that's it, right? Maybe you go for the forearm interlace. And breathe when you get there. And then notice on this side. Again, I point out what I notice, not because you should notice the same thing. I'm just pointing out how unasymmetrical or in a potential place you might feel it. This side, I don't feel it in my outer shoulder. This time I do feel it in my upper trap. Right? So both sides can be so very different. It's amazing.
Are you right-handed?
I am right hand dominant. Yeah. Well, and I was doing some lifting and moving and stuff. So that might be it too. Go ahead and release that. And it is Shavasana time. So start to unwind out into whatever shape Shavasana might take for you today. One of these days, I'm going to have us haul out some chairs, but I'll plan it a little better and put our shins up on chairs. Remind me of that when we come back. But if you wanted to take the time to do that, any of my friends at home, please feel free. And as you lie down, soften the muscles from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes. And as you soften, maybe noticing how the body widens. Literally, it does, right? When the muscles relax, the body will widen across the floor. Maybe imagine, if you will, that all boundaries, all edges between you and Mother Earth disappeared and you became one. And if for any reason, any visualization I ever bring in causes you stress, do not do it. And our physical body is soft, and for most of us, that stillness sometimes will I don't want to say encourage, but maybe we notice that the mind is busy because our body is still and we don't have as much to focus on. So remember, you can have a point of concentration. I often talk about bringing your awareness to the breath or to scanning the body. If you have another way that you work, please invite it in. Bringing your awareness back to your breath. And speaking to anyone who might be doing this as a video later, remember, you can stay where you are and relax here for a while. But if anyone has a time commitment, might bring the awareness back into the physical body, maybe wiggling fingers or toes, or I don't know, maybe you do another windshield wiper or move the spine around. And maybe you want to just sit still for a few more moments. That's all right too. They're all equally lovely if they work for you. Eventually, make your way up to an upright posture, and I'll meet you there. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Take an inhale. And with an exhale, as we bow the head in, just taking a moment here for, gratitude. Almost every single class I teach. So hopefully we've got a ton of practice. So when it gets to Thanksgiving, we are so good at gratitude, right? And people think, how do I advance my practice? And can I do more exotic poses? Am I flexible enough to do lotus and all this stuff? I am here to tell you, I don't believe that's an advanced practice. I believe an advanced practice comes in a more subtle form. For instance, if I were to ask you to find one thing to be grateful for, maybe instead of being grateful that you have this class today or that it was a free class, that's easy, right? And I don't mean that's bad. Be grateful for it. Heck yeah, be grateful for anything you can be. But maybe there's someone who's a little frustrating, or maybe there's been a little struggle in your life lately with a situation, a person, an attitude you have, someone else, whatever that might be, right? And then maybe we can advance our practice to the point where when we have that, and we can still be grateful that we have those teaching moments or those teachers in our lives, right? Because often they reflect back to us. Maybe we can be grateful for that kind of stuff too. And don't worry, I still have things I'm not grateful for, and it's going to take me a few years in therapy to get there. But I have come a long way. Namaste, friends. And I am crazy grateful to all y'all for supporting CJoy Yoga so we can have this community and I can do what I love here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And also Kim and Lori, I was going to walk over to you, but I want to do it before I get there. So, you know, I'm also speaking to you.